Sick of burning through Switch games in a weekend? These 20 absolute bangers will straight up consume your life. Welcome to Switch Game List. And trust me, your free time is about to disappear. Monster Hunter. Generations Ultimate is simple on paper. You hunt giant monsters, carve their parts, and craft better gear to hunt bigger monsters. But this isn't just about boss fights. You're a hunter in a world where every creature, from fire-breathing dragons to electric wolves, has unique behaviors, weaknesses, and ecosystems. There's no traditional story here. The focus is on mastering weapons, teaming up with friends, and tackling over 100 monsters across icy tundras, volcanic peaks, and lush jungles. The grind isn't for everyone, but if you crave depth and variety in combat, you'll be here for hundreds of hours. The Binding of Isaac puts you in the shoes of Isaac, a kid escaping his deranged mother through a basement filled with grotesque monsters, poop-themed bosses, and power-ups that turn your tears into homing lasers. Each run randomizes the dungeon layout, items, and enemies, so no two attempts feel the same. The story? It's a twisted allegory for religious trauma and child abuse, masked by dark humor and absurdity. Don't let the gross-out visuals fool you. This rogue-like demands strategy, quick reflexes, and a tolerance for chaos. Enter the Gungeon throws you into a bullet-hell dungeon crawler where every enemy, weapon, and even the environment revolves around guns. You play as a misfit, a robot, a convict, a cultist, raiding the Gungeon to find a legendary bullet that can rewrite the past. Each floor is packed with bullet-dodging challenges, secret rooms, and hundreds of ridiculous guns, like a shotgun that shoots sharks or a rifle powered by rainbows. Death sends you back to the start, but unlocks new characters, weapons, and shortcuts. The story's thin, but the adrenaline rush of surviving a room full of bullets, that's the real hook. Darkest Dungeon 2 is a grim roguelike where you lead a team of flawed heroes, a plague doctor, a grave robber, on a desperate caravan journey to avert the apocalypse. Stress, trauma, and permadeath haunt every decision. Relationships form between characters, for better or worse, as they battle eldritch horrors. The story unfolds through fragmented narration and cryptic clues, focusing more on atmosphere than plot. Each failed run teaches you how to manage chaos better, or breaks your spirit. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is a hack-and-slash spin-off set 100 years before Breath of the Wild. You relive the events leading to Calamity Ganon's rise, controlling heroes like Link, Zelda, and the Champions, as they mow down armies of bokoblins and guardians. While the story retcons the original tragedy into a hopeful alternate timeline, the real draw is the chaotic combat. Each character has unique combos, and missions unlock weapons, upgrades, and side stories. It's repetitive but satisfying if you enjoy obliterating hundreds of enemies in minutes. Warframe drops you into a free-to-play sci-fi universe as a space ninja. A Warframe? Battling factions for resources and power. The story? It's buried under years of updates, but revolves around ancient wars, AI rebellions, and cosmic conspiracies. What keeps players hooked is the grind, crafting new warframes, guns, and companions, or farming rare mods to tweak your build. Missions range from stealthy spy ops to horde mode survival, and the movement, wall running, sliding, bullet jumping, feels fluid. Just expect a steep learning curve and a lot of menus.
The Ascaris is working, breaking through. I see the shadows of your mind.
Bayonetta 3 follows the titular witch as she battles man-made bioweapons and godlike entities across parallel worlds. The story is campy, over the top, and packed with spectacle. Think kaiju fights, musical numbers, and a sentient hair monster. Combat is fast and flashy, rewarding stylish combos and perfect dodges. New mechanics like Demon Masquerade let you fuse with demons for devastating attacks, while optional missions and collectibles add replay value. It's pure chaos, but if you're here for action, not coherence, it's a blast. Nine Parchments is a co-op spellcasting game where you play as students of magic racing to recover lost spells. The story is minimal, quippy dialogue and lighthearted banter between characters, but the gameplay shines in groups. You'll blast enemies with elemental spells, ice, fire, lightning, and combine effects for explosive results. The catch? Friendly fire is always on, so teamwork or accidental sabotage keeps runs unpredictable. Unlockable characters and customizable staffs add variety, though solo play feels repetitive fast. Stardew Valley starts with you inheriting a rundown farm, but it's really about building a life in a small town. You'll plant crops, mine for ore, fish, and befriend locals with their own stories and secrets. There's no end. You rebuild the community center, restore the valley, or dive into mysterious caverns at your own pace. Updates have added marriage, divorce, and even a whole island to explore. It's cozy, but don't underestimate the rabbit hole of optimizing your farm or chasing that perfect catch. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is a sprawling JRPG where you explore floating continents on the backs of titans. Rex, a salvager, teams up with Pyra, a living weapon, to reach a mythical paradise. The story mixes anime tropes with existential themes, but the world-building steals the show. Vast vertical landscapes filled with rare monsters, hidden quests, and roaming bosses. Combat revolves around timing blade combos and elemental chains, which starts slow but becomes satisfyingly complex. Just brace for gacha-style mechanics to unlock new blades.
Tiger!
Don, why here?
I'll bash you up proper next time, I swear.
Be wary not to push yourself too hard.
Hey, quick pause here. If you're enjoying this look at some of Switch's finest games, hit that subscribe button for more content like this. Let me know in the comments which of these games you've played or are excited to try. Now, let's continue with our lineup. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim drops you into a frozen fantasy realm where dragons have returned, and you're the prophesied hero meant to stop them. But the main quest is just a slice of this world. Join factions like the Thieves Guild or Dark Brotherhood, craft gear, marry NPCs, or ignore the plot entirely to explore dungeons, shout at dragons, and hoard cheese wheels. The Switch version includes mod support, letting you tweak visuals or add new quests. It's janky, but the freedom to live a second life as a vampire blacksmith, that's why people still play it 12 years later. Neon Chrome is a cyberpunk roguelite where you hack into a procedurally generated tower to overthrow a corrupt AI. You'll die, a lot, but each run lets you upgrade stats, unlock weapons, or enhance cybernetic abilities. The twin-stick shooting is tight and environments are destructible, letting you blast through walls to flank enemies. The story is bare bones, corporate dystopia, rebellion, but the grind to perfect your build and conquer higher floors is addictive. Just don't expect much variety in the neon-drenched halls. Wildfrost is a deck-building roguelike where you lead a tribe through a frozen world threatened by an eternal winter. Each run involves drafting cards, allies, spells, gear, and strategizing turn-based battles against cute but deadly enemies. The twist? Enemies telegraph their moves, forcing you to adapt or lose your best units. The art style is charming, and the difficulty is brutal. Losing unlocks new tribes and modifiers, but progress is slow. Story-wise, it's minimal. Save your home, uncover lore scraps. Perfect for puzzle-minded masochists. Dragon Quest Builders 2 mixes RPG quests with Minecraft-like building. You're a builder tasked with restoring islands destroyed by a cult that hates creativity. The story is campy and full of Dragon Quest charm, but the real draw is the sandbox. Terraform landscapes, construct towns, and recruit NPCs to farm, cook, or fight. Post-game unlocks Terra Incognita, a free build mode with no limits. Combat is simple and the pacing drags, but building a floating castle or a sushi restaurant? That's where the magic is. WorldNeverland. Elnea Kingdom is a life sim where you immigrate to a fantasy kingdom and live in real time. You'll farm, marry, raise kids, and watch them inherit your save file. There's no end goal, just daily routines like fishing contests, dungeon raids, or gossiping with nobles. The story emerges through NPC interactions and random events, but progression is glacial. It's niche, almost like a Tamagotchi for adults, but the persistence of the world across generations hooks certain players. Super Mario Odyssey reinvents the platformer by throwing Mario into open-world kingdoms to rescue Peach from Bowser's wedding plans. The story is paper-thin, but the joy is in exploration. Use Mario's sentient hat, Cappy, to possess enemies and objects, solving puzzles, or finding hidden power moons. Kingdoms range from a New York-inspired city to a moonlit forest, each packed with secrets. Post-game unlocks harder challenges, but the core loop, jumping, capturing, collecting, is polished to a shine. It's a playground, not a chore. Splatoon 2 is Nintendo's take on the shooter. Teams of Inklings, human-squid hybrids, compete to cover maps in colorful ink. The single-player campaign has a light story, stop an octopus army, but the endless content is online. Regular Splatfests, themed events, rotating maps and modes like Turf War or Salmon Run, PvE hordes, keep matches fresh. Unlockable gear and weapon kits add customization, though balance patches can shift the meta. It's chaotic, family-friendly, and oddly strategic. Just don't expect deep lore. Slay the Spire tasks you with climbing a procedurally generated tower using a deck of cards. Choose between 4 characters, Ironclad, Silent, Defect, Watcher, each with unique mechanics, and battle enemies by playing attack, defense, or skill cards. The story is non-existent. You're climbing a spire and something evil lurks at the top, but the depth comes from synergizing cards and relics. Each failed run teaches you to optimize, and daily challenges or custom modes add infinite replay. Brutal, brainy, and brutally addictive. Hades follows Zagreus, son of the Underworld's ruler, as he repeatedly fights his way to the surface. Each escape attempt unlocks new weapons, abilities, and story beats via conversations with gods, ghosts, and foes. The roguelike structure ties directly to the narrative. Death isn't failure, just another step in unraveling. Combat is fast, with boons from Olympus, Zeus lightning, Artemis's crits, letting you experiment endlessly. It's a masterclass in blending gameplay and storytelling, and the one more run itch is real. Disgaea 5 Complete is a tactical RPG where absurdity reigns. You lead a demon rebellion against an evil overlord using grid-based combat to level up characters, weapons, and even item worlds. The story is campy anime melodrama, but the post-game is the focus. Grind characters to level 9,999, tackle bonus bosses, or dive into randomized dungeons. Mechanics like geopanels and tower attacks add depth, though the learning curve is steep. If you enjoy breaking games with numbers, this is crack. Hey, let me know what you think about these games. Maybe you've played some and have a different take, or maybe something here caught your eye. Drop a comment, let's chat about it. See you in the next one.